Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, Politically Very Incorrect. I am your host, Suha Amr. I would like to begin this episode by thanking everyone who reached out via email and shared their ideas and perspectives, who subscribed, commented, liked, and shared. I greatly appreciate your encouragement and input. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do me a big favor and do so to be notified firsthand when I drop new episodes. I know that I promised in my first introductory episode that I would be discussing the before and after October 7 events. However, with the latest developments regarding the presidential race, I decided to dedicate this episode to this current hot topic. The fact that Americans care more about the president's cognitive situation than our complicity in the ongoing Israeli genocide against Palestinian babies and kids, starving them to death, giving 2,000-pound bombs, ammunition that wipes out within seconds, within the blink of an eye, whole neighborhoods, says a lot about our unfortunately degrading values that we have and our priorities as humans on this earth. Biden should have been ejected for his role in empowering a genocidal psychopath regime in Israel, not because he performed badly in a presidential debate. We still recall the outrageous statements and lies you adopted, Mr. President, from the renowned criminal Netanyahu about the 40 beheaded babies and burned in oven babies. You lied to the Americans that you saw those beheaded babies yourself, and based on those lies, you facilitated billions of dollars worth of weapons of mass destruction to psychopaths in the Israeli government to green light the genocide that is still ongoing up until today. You knew that there were no 40 beheaded babies or burned in oven babies, and to this day you still haven't addressed that or have the guts to apologize for promoting Zionist lies to justify Israel's genocide in Gaza. This will be your profound legacy, Mr. President. Enjoy. And to refresh the memory of those who forgot what Biden once blatantly said, back when he was Senator Joe Biden, and I quote, "Paying Israel $3 million annually is the best investment the U.S. has ever made," end quote. You know, he was referring to our annual cash donations for Israel on top of our weapons that we donate for them as well. Mr. Biden also stressed back when he was a senator, I quote, "If there weren't an Israel, America would have to invent an Israel," end quote. Invent an Israel to do what exactly? I'm really curious to know. Is it to do our dirty jobs for us in the Middle East, perhaps? Is the current genocide part of that plan, Mr. President? On what accounts? Sending our troops to die for the few thriving elites and corporations? On what account? Taking both the Palestinians and the Jews hostage in one of our corrupt politicians' real-life Hunger Games scenarios? Excuse me, but I'm having difficulty swallowing the fact that we as Americans are not outraged at the scenes of beheaded Palestinian babies, at the more than 150,000 and counting civilians in Gaza that are being slaughtered daily and deliberately starved to death by a bunch of radical psychopaths in the Israeli government. What have we become? Where are our values as Americans? Where's our humanity, empathy, fear of God, and decency? What has become of us as humans? Democrats' gravest mistake was not jumping the wagon 10 months ago because of Biden's complicity in the genocide in Gaza, and not for his cognitive decline. As for you, Mr. Trump, the fact that you are still calling on these radical psychopaths in Israel to finish the job in Gaza speaks volumes of the disastrous intentions you have where Palestinians are concerned. We are witnessing a severe decline in our democracy and our humanitarian values as decent Americans. Neither of these two parties, the Republicans and the Democrats alike, deserve our respect and our votes. In my opinion, they are traitors and AIPAC sellouts because they have a foreign entity's best interests over us, their constituents. Brian Mast is a stark example of those sellouts when he decided to tarnish the Capitol by wearing his IDF uniform, exposing to Americans, without reasonable doubt, where his loyalties and priorities are. I want to know, why aren't our representatives listening to us voters? If more than 70% of Americans, including Republicans, are in favor of an immediate and permanent ceasefire and the launching of peace negotiations in Gaza, why are our representatives turning deaf ears to our demands? Why? I sincerely want to know who the hell is running this country. If you're not listening to your constituents, who is running this country? Who? Where are you taking the Americans with your BS foreign policies? Is World War III next? We are already on the brink of one, aren't we? With the latest events that are going on between the Houthis in Yemen and Hezbollah in Lebanon? We have a duty to ourselves as humans and a bigger duty toward our kids and future generations to ask these questions and to demand high levels of transparency from our representatives, or so-called representatives. We don't have the luxury to wait anymore. We must act and unite as Americans and salvage what decades of political decay led us to in this country and the world. We have to understand that we are at a dangerous crossroads here. We are. Do we want America where justice is for all? Do we need an America where freedom of speech is for all and not for some if you happen to disagree with them? Freedom of speech where our kids at schools and universities can speak their minds without fear of being persecuted or beaten up by a bunch of Zionist thugs who bought our politicians, both the Republicans and the Democrats, to sneak out laws that limit our freedoms and endanger our constitutional rights. Do we need America, or do we want America where Americans get to decide where to spend their tax money and not get hijacked by our government? By our, not only government, this is not related to one government. It's been ongoing for decades with other governments as well, whether it was Republican or Democrat or bipartisan, to support genocidal maniacs in Israel or anywhere else in the world for that matter. Do we want America where we don't have to work our asses off in 2 or 3 jobs to make ends meet, to pay for a roof over our heads, food on our table? It's come down to this. Do we want America where we all can have universal health care? Do we want an America where school kids are debt-free? College kids are debt-free? Do we want an America where our kids can afford rent when going to college or starting a new adventure, a new work, a new job, and have to remain instead living with their parents until they reach middle age because they cannot afford a decent place to rent? Do we want America where we can be an icon for international human justice and not complicit in launching wars to steal other countries' natural resources and create dictatorships to reign those countries and leave a trail of chaos, death, and poverty in our wake? And when those people try to run away, looking for a decent life for them and their families, run away from the nightmarish reality we created in their homelands, we have the audacity to call them terrorists. What America do we want? We need to find an answer to this question ASAP. Because if we let things run as they are, we are not going to have an America to begin with. To all those who are cheering for a civil war in America, I ask you this. Are you prepared to kill your brother or sister? Kill your mom and your dad? Kill your loved ones, your neighbors, or your friends? Because this is how it's going to be like. It is going to be like that if we keep on going where we are going. Because in every household in America, there are conflicts of opinion and with the high level of divisions within the one family, anger, mental illness, and easy access to weapons, things will get super ugly extremely fast. I've seen it happen in my home country in Lebanon. We're not that different. Human nature is the same. Are you ready for that? Do you want to take a risk? Are these crappy politicians worthy of it? To all Americans with conscience and decency, I say the following. Number one, focus on the policies that unite us. Stay away from idolizing mere mortals, especially corrupt politicians. 2. Any presidential nominee who doesn't have a plan to stop Israeli genocide against Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank should not become the president. Period. Enough bloodshed in our name and with our tax money. Enough. Finally, I would like to thank you for stopping by, and please do me a huge favor. Subscribe to my channel, Politically Very Incorrect. Hit the bell button to be notified when I drop a new video. Share and like to help me with the algorithm. This is your host, Suha Amer. Until next time, don't be afraid to stand up for the truth and for what is right. Peace.